So I remember taking my time when I was making this sign, just because this is like an experiment I've thought a lot about, not necessarily in an art context or in a performative way, but like just something that I consider a lot when I'm in a public space. And then I was there making a sign and I was like, oh shit, this is happening. Confrontation's happening. I'm asking the question and I'm like looking for a response. So took my time. The start of the performance, I think, was a little bit slow. Um, it took a while to get into the mindset and kind of get a feel of my surroundings and my space. And then finally, someone approached me and answered the question. And I remember one of them saying, "Oh, this is a fun game." It was what seemed to be a white cis man saying, "Oh, this is a fun game." And I just thought that was interesting. I'm like, "Yep, that's my life, dude. This is a fun game." I developed, I developed like a better strategy to interact with people because for a while no one was really approaching me. So if they made eye contact with me, I would offer them the pen. So it was a bit more like inviting them to participate. And that seemed to work a lot better to get answers. I remember hitting the board in a rhythmic way. I wasn't really aware of it. It wasn't like I was trying to get attention from my surroundings. It just felt meditative, and it helped me cope with the vulnerable situation I was in. But that also drew more attention to people being like, who's this person hitting their board, walking down the street? So it played a role into the whole performance, I think. There's a lot of intense, vulnerable, and like meaningful almost moments where people looked at me in the eyes, and that's something I'm usually quite uncomfortable with. I think a lot of people can relate to that. Just eye contact with anyone for a prolonged amount of time is quite intimate. But that happened a lot when people approached me and started to examine me as this kind of item, this object of where is this person from? And that started with eye contact, and it felt very comfortable though, even though it was quite intimate. So I found there's patterns that I started to realize of who was more willing to participate. From what I gathered was a lot of women, like millennial women, would participate, as well as with a little bit of hesitancy, though it wasn't as easy. But a lot of men, between the ages of like 25, 35, would be very willing, and I felt more of a tension in our interactions when it was groups of men coming and approaching me and taking the pen and examining me, and that was all part of it. But I felt the gaze a lot more strong. So So this approach was a little bit different. Where the question posed was, where are we from? And that that kind of gave a different dynamic and relationship between the performer versus the audience, kind of asking those who see this to look more within themselves rather than to examine the person wearing the sign. There was one interaction in particular that was pretty interesting with two men, older men, who approached the performer and asked immediately, "Where are you from?" And then right after realized that they were being filmed and commented, "It's rude to film people without their permission." And I think that comment one after the other of it's rude to film people without their permission and bluntly asking someone, where are they from, when that's not even the question at hand. And that immediate assumption and that thought that they have a right to ask that even though they don't fully understand what the question is being asked at hand. And that just kind of showed a privilege in itself that people kind of can have over someone else's ethnicity. And